You just came back from a major trip to Africa with the President Biden. Could you give us your takeaway from that trip?
So first of all, let me say that I was honored to be asked to represent Corporate Counsel on Africa on the official White House delegation that traveled to Angola and to celebrate President Biden's trip to Africa. When I met him, I said to him, Mr. President, you promised at the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit in December of 2022 that you would visit Africa, and you've done it, and I just want to say how important that is. And I think the trip represented the U.S. commitment, and I think that commitment will continue in the new administration. The visit was historic because it was the first of a U.S. president, a sitting U.S. president that has visited Angola. And as I said, it was also the only trip that President Biden took to the continent during his presidency. So I was pleased, as I said, to represent Corporate Counsel on Africa in the delegation. I did not get to go to Lobito. The logistics of Lobito were very challenging. There was a lot of moving pieces there, and so they had to really strictly control who could go. But I understand, from the videos I've seen of it, it was an excellent discussion of the Lobito Corridor projects and the potential of Lobito Corridor. I'm hoping, and many of our members hope, that it will serve as a model for what we can do to support the building out of Africa's regional infrastructure and continental infrastructure, perhaps in other regions. And Lobito Corridor then is a good start to that. They had the heads of state from DRC, from Zambia, the vice president of Tanzania, and of course, President of Angola, President Lorenzo, and President Biden. So my understanding is that it was a great discussion with support that will come to those projects there in Lobito.
I mean, you are planning, you represent a major private sector in the U.S. that for a very long time have been engaged with Africa.
Acro Bridge,
yes. Bridge, for example, I know that is a major contributor to the Lobito Corridor. Is one of your members that,
yes.
I've been a member for a very long time as well.
Yes.
So what is the feedback, the message that you're hearing from your members on what more do they want the U.S. government to do? We know there's a new administration that is coming in. So what more? And we are today here at the DFC, which used to be OPIC, as you know. A long time ago, there's been a shift that have streamlined the way funds are distributed to developing countries. So what are you hearing from your members?
So first of all, let me just say that some of CCA's members, like Acro Bridge, AFC, Sun Africa, they were all in Lobito and participated in the summit. So we're very excited about that. All that I've heard back is very positive. We hosted a reception at the end of the Lobito Corridor Summit, and we had Samila Zaveru from AFC spoke, as well as others, and it was all very positive feedback. In terms of new administration, what I would say is that we have some major tools in the United States as a part of the government. DFC is certainly one of them. Their last 5 years, I think, has been very productive. We all know that it was the BUILD Act, which was done during the Trump administration, that transitioned it from OPIC to DFC. and they've been very forward-leaning on Africa. I admit I don't follow all of what they do on the other continents, but I know that the kinds of projects they've been doing in Africa have been very, very impactful. And so I don't have any inside track, but my sense is that the new Trump administration will continue the projects that are going forward now under DFC. I think our members at CCA are also hopeful that DFC will be reauthorized. They need that in order to continue the good work they're doing. And I stayed behind from the official delegation to Angola to talk with Angolan government and private sector folks and others about CCA's U.S.-Africa Business Summit, which will be held in Angola in June of 2025 in collaboration with the Angolan government.